Gojo opens his eyes and finds himself in a strange place. It feels calm and quiet. For a moment, he remembers the last thing that happened to him, his final battle, his death. He also remembers seeing Nanami and the others after everything ended. In the Jujutsu world, life after death is not impossible, so Gojo simply accepts it. One day, while walking around this strange place, Gojo notices a small light floating in front of him. It shines brightly, almost like it's calling him. Gojo looks at it with curiosity. Being the type of person he is, he doesn't hesitate and reaches out to grab the light. The moment his hand touches it, everything changes. His vision turns white and his body feels strange. When he opens his eyes again, he realizes something shocking. He's inside the body of a child. Somehow, Gojo Satoru has been reborn in the past. Even though he's now a child, his mind is completely the same. He remembers everything, every battle, every mistake, and every loss. Gojo quickly understands that this is a second chance. This time, he plans to change the future. Gojo quietly thinks to himself, so this is how it is. I really came back. He slowly smiles and says, alright then, let's fix everything this time. As Gojo grows older, he begins learning how to walk and talk like a normal child. However, everyone around him quickly realizes that he isn't normal. The moment his 6 eyes appear, the Gojo clan immediately recognizes his talent. To them, he's a once-in-a-generation prodigy. But Gojo himself knows the truth. In the previous timeline, he was strong, but he was also careless. His overconfidence led to many problems. The biggest one was losing Toji during the Star Plasma Vessel mission. Gojo clearly remembers how everything started going wrong from that moment. If Toji had not killed Riko Amanai, things would have been very different. Geto would not have lost faith in humanity, and Kenjaku would never have taken over Geto's body. Because of this, Gojo decides to start training much earlier. His body is still young, so his cursed energy is limited. He cannot fully use his techniques yet, but the difference is that he already understands them. He knows how to use reverse curse technique. He knows how to use domain expansion. He even knows how to create hollow purple. All of this knowledge gives him a huge advantage compared to the original timeline. Young Gojo looks at his small hands and mutters, my cursed energy is low, but the knowledge is still here. He smirks a little and says, when this body catches up, I'll be unstoppable. As time passes, Gojo continues to grow stronger little by little. However, he also remembers something very important. One day, Toji Zenin will come for him. In the original timeline, that encounter changed everything. Right now, Gojo knows he's still too weak to fight someone like Toji. Even with all his knowledge, his child body cannot handle that kind of battle yet. So instead of rushing things, Gojo chooses to wait. Another reason Gojo stays careful is because he doesn't want to change the timeline too much. If he interferes too early, the future might change in ways he cannot predict. That could create even bigger problems. So Gojo decides to follow the same path for now. However, he still takes care of a couple events related to the higher-ups that cause trouble for everyone. Eventually, the time comes for him to enroll at Jujutsu High. Even though he's already lived through this life once, he still feels a strange emotion when he walks through those gates again, because he knows that someone very important is waiting there. When Gojo finally meets Suguru Geto again, his heart feels heavy. In the original timeline, Geto's fall into darkness became one of Gojo's biggest regrets. As time passes, Gojo and Geto slowly grow close again. Just like before, they begin going on missions together and quickly become known as the strongest duo in Jujutsu High. Their teamwork is nearly perfect, and most curses they face don't stand a chance against them. However, this time Gojo behaves a little differently. In the original timeline, he never truly paid attention to what Geto was going through. Now he watches him more carefully. He listens more and makes sure that Geto never feels alone during their missions. The more time they spend together, the more Gojo realizes how much he values Geto's presence. Fighting together and talking after missions reminds him of the happiest time of his life. Because of this, Gojo promises himself that he won't lose his best friend again. Eventually, time moves forward until the moment Gojo has been waiting for arrives. The Star Plasma Vessel mission. Gojo and Geto are assigned to protect Riko Amanai, the girl who must merge with Master Tengen. The mission begins almost exactly like it did in the original timeline. Gojo and Geto protect Amanai from several curse users who try to attack her. They stay close to her and make sure she remains safe. During these days, Amanai spends time with them and slowly opens up while enjoying the little freedom she has left. Soon, the final moment of the mission arrives. Amanai must be taken to Tengen. Just like before, Gojo decides to stay behind to deal with any enemies while Geto escorts Amanai forward. However, Gojo already knows what's about to happen. He calmly waits for the moment when Toji Zenin will appear. In the original timeline, Toji caught him off guard, but this time, Gojo already knows where the attack will come from. When Toji finally rushes toward him, Gojo easily dodges the strike. The fight begins, but it quickly becomes clear that Gojo is very different. He already understands Toji's speed, weapons, and fighting style. Even though Gojo could end the fight quickly with his domain expansion, he chooses not to rush it. At one point, he even allows Toji to land a hit, but immediately heals himself using the reverse curse technique. The wound disappears almost instantly. After that, that, the battle quickly becomes one-sided. Gojo overwhelms Toji with his knowledge and experience, and eventually finishes the fight using Hollow Purple. With Toji gone, the biggest danger of the mission disappears. Meanwhile, Geto safely escorts Amanai near Tengen. For the first time in this timeline, the moment that once ended in tragedy plays out very differently, and Amanai survives. Riko Amanai is still alive. After the Star Plasma Vessel mission ends, the future begins to change in a big way. The tragedy that once pushed Geto toward darkness never happens. Riko Amanai survives, and the chain of events that originally broke Geto never begins. Gojo still saves Megami because he already knows about him, even though Toji didn't tell him anything. Gojo keeps a close eye on Geto in the following months. They continue going on missions together and sometimes handle missions alone. Their reputation keeps growing, and many people still see them as the strongest duo in the Jujutsu world. Because the events of that mission ended differently, Geto never falls into the deep depression he had in the original timeline. He doesn't begin to hate normal humans the way he once did. From the outside, it seems like Gojo successfully changed the future. However, Gojo slowly realizes that even though the tragedy never happened, Geto himself has not changed. His way of thinking is still the same. Geto still questions the Jujutsu world and the system that controls it. He dislikes how the higher-ups treat sorcerers like tools and how the big sorcerer families hold most of the power. These thoughts slowly grow stronger over time. Instead of turning his anger toward humans like in the original timeline, Geto directs his frustration toward the Jujutsu Society itself. In his eyes, the system is broken and needs a change. Without telling anyone, Geto slowly begins gathering sorcerers who share the same frustrations. Many of them are tired of following orders from the higher-ups. Over time, Geto forms a separate group that opposes the authority of the Jujutsu families and their elders. His actions begin causing problems for the Jujutsu world. His group interferes with missions and challenges the authority of the people in power. Even though his goal is not as extreme as before, he still becomes a dangerous figure. Gojo eventually learns about everything. He tries to stop Geto, but things do not go the way he hoped. This time, he refuses to kill his best friend again, no matter what happens. Eventually, the Jujutsu world manages to capture Geto. Because of how dangerous he's become, they imprison him instead of executing him, because of Gojo's influence. Gojo allows this to happen because he cannot bring himself to kill Geto a second time. At the same time, Gojo remembers the role of the prison realm in the original timeline. With his current knowledge and power, he could try to destroy it before anyone ever uses it. However, he decides not to interfere. If the prison realm disappears, Kenjaku might create a completely different plan that Gojo knows nothing about. Allowing the events to move forward is safer because Gojo already understands how the future will unfold. Another important moment arrives when Yuji Itadori encounters Sukuna's finger. Gojo could easily stop Yuji from eating it and prevent Sukuna's return, but Gojo chooses not to interfere. He knows that Yuji is the only person capable of containing Sukuna. Instead of stopping the event, Gojo allows it to happen. This time, however, Gojo is far more prepared than before. With his knowledge of the future and his growing strength, he believes he can handle whatever comes next, even if it means facing the King of Curses again. As time moves forward, Gojo allows Yuji Itadori to grow naturally, just like in the original timeline. He still allows Yuji to attend Jujutsu High and train with the others. Gojo understands that Yuji needs these experiences in order to become stronger. However, Gojo quietly interferes whenever things become too dangerous. In the original timeline, Yuji and Megami were forced to fight a special grade curse very early, which nearly killed them. This time, Gojo arrives before things can get out of control and removes the threat before the situation becomes too serious. Another major change happened during the Junpei incident. In the original timeline, Yuji suffered a lot during this arc and was forced to face Mahito alone. Gojo remembers how painful that moment was for him. Instead of letting Yuji handle it alone, Gojo sends Nanami with him. With Nanami's experience and strength, things play out very differently. Yuji and Nanami manage to save Junpei before Mahito can fully manipulate him. Mahito still manages to escape from them during the battle. However, he doesn't realize that Gojo has been watching everything from the beginning. Before Mahito can cause more problems, Gojo eliminates him completely. Because of this, Junpei survives and later joins Jujutsu High in this timeline. Yuji never experiences the same level of pain and guilt that once pushed him to his limits. As time passes, many events unfold differently, but most of them still move in a direction Gojo understands. With his knowledge of the future, he quietly prevents many disasters before they can happen. Eventually, Kenjaku decides to act. Instead of waiting for the Shibuya incident, he launches an attack on Jujutsu High itself. His plan is to capture Gojo's students and use them to trap or seal him. However, Gojo already expected something like this. The moment Kenjaku begins his plan, Gojo quickly steps in and destroys the threat before it can grow into something bigger. Because of this, the Shibuya incident never happens in this timeline. Without Shibuya, the culling games also never begin. After that, Gojo focuses on preparing for the final problem, Sukuna. He slowly allows Yuji to consume all of Sukuna's fingers one by one. Sometimes Yuji temporarily loses control when Sukuna takes over, but Gojo is always there to stop him. Since Gojo already understands Sukuna's techniques and fighting style from the original timeline, he's able to control the situation every time. This allows Yuji to eventually consume all 20 fingers while the situation situation remains under control. In the end, the world moves toward a future that Gojo carefully shaped from the very beginning. His only regret is Geto, whom he could not save because of his personality, but he's still happy that he could save a lot of people besides him.